Hello everyone, welcome to Botany channel for UPSC examination. In today's video, we are going to see the general characteristics of the plant group called Pteridophytes. As you know, Pteridophyte forms a very important and large group in the plant kingdom, and this is quite an important topic from a UPSC mains examination point of view. So let's see the general characteristics of the Pteridophytes. Alright. So the very first thing you should know about the Pteridophyte is that they are also called the Vascular Cryptogams. As you may have familiar about the cryptogam term, that is, cryptogams includes algae, fungi, bryophytes, and pteridophytes, right? So all these four are considered as a cryptogams because these are the lower plants. But out of them, all first three, that is the algae, fungi, and bryophytes, do not have vascular tissue or vascular bundle, right? Now, as you know, vascular tissue in a plant kingdom is primarily made up of xylem plus phloem, right? Presence of xylem and phloem make the plant vascular. Both these tissue are able to conduct the water and nutrient throughout the plant body. Xylem in particular is responsible for transporting water throughout the plant body, while the phloem transports food and other inorganic or organic components and other important solutes in the plants, right? So the first three, that is the algae, fungi, and bryophyte, do not have the vascular tissue, but the fourth cryptogam, that is the pteridophyte, do contain the vascular tissues. That is, they have the presence of xylem plus phloem. So, due to the presence of xylem and phloem in pteridophytes, these are also called as the vascular cryptogams because it is the only group in cryptogams which contains the xylem and phloem. So, the very basic reason why these are called the vascular cryptogams because in all four groups of the cryptogams, only the pteridophytes contains the xylem and phloem, that is the vascular tissue, and that is why they are called as the vascular cryptogams. All right. The next thing you should know about the pteridophyte is the meaning of word pteridophyte. All right. This pteridophyte word has certain meaning. The term pteridophyte is of a Greek origin. All right. This is the Greek word, that is the pteridophyte, and made up of two words, that is the pteron plus phyte. This pteron word in Greek means the one which is feather-like. That is, the feather-like structure is called pteron in the Greek language, while the phyte stands for the plant. That is, such a plant which looks like a feather of the birds, right? You can observe in this picture, that is these leaves and the shape of this whole leaflet is like the feather of the bird. That is why the name Pteridophyta is given to these plants. The plant which has a feather-like structure, such a plants are called as the pteridophyte, and that is why pteridophyte, this term, is given to this particular group of the plants. All right. The next important thing about the pteridophyte is that they are the first land plants. That is, the pteridophytic group is the first group which grow on the terrestrial land. Before this, algae were totally submerged or they grow at the moist places only. That is, the absolute requirement for the algae is the water. That is, without the water, the life cycle of the algae will not complete. That is why either algae are grow completely into the water or nearby water bodies. While on the other hand, the next group of plants, that is the bryophytes, they live nearly on the ground, but their fertilization is completely dependent on the water, and that is why they require both the habitat for their survival, right? So algae is completely dependent on water. On the other hand, the bryophytes are partially dependent on water and the land, while the third group, that is the pteridophytes, are completely independent of the water, and that is why they are considered as the first land plants because they can independently grow on the land without the requirement of absolute water, and that is why this group considered as the first group of the land plants. The next interesting thing about the pteridophyte is that they are also called as the snakes of the plant kingdom or the botanical snakes. That is, pteridophytes were also called as the snakes of the plant kingdom or the botanical snakes. Now there are two reasons behind this. As you know, in animal kingdom, after the amphibian group, the reptiles are evolved, right? That is, the amphibians evolved first, and from amphibians, the reptiles were evolved. In a very similar way, in plant science, from bryophytes, the pteridophytes were originated. As you know, the bryophytes were popularly called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. And from these amphibians, the pteridophytes were developed, and that is why such a connection can be made that the pteridophytes are very similar to the reptiles group of the animals, and that is why these are called as the snakes of the plant kingdom. All right. So the very first reason why the pteridophytes are called snakes of the plant kingdom is that, much like in animal kingdom, from the amphibians, reptiles were developed, as in a very similar way, from the bryophytes, that is the amphibians of the plant kingdom, the pteridophytes were evolved. All right. The very second reason is that the morphological structure of a certain ferns, that is, you can see in this picture, this is the morphological structure of found in a certain ferns. This picture or the shape of these structures were very similar to the snakes, and that is why they are also called as the botanical snakes due to their morphology. All right. So the morphology is the second reason why these are called as the botanical snakes. So you should remember that they have evolved after the amphibians of the plant kingdom, and that is why they are called as the snakes of the plant kingdom or the botanical snakes. And the second reason is the morphology of certain ferns, which is similar to the snakes. All right. Now, the next thing about the pteridophyte is that they have plant body which is divided into leaves, stem, and root. That is, the plant body of a pteridophyte is divided into leaves, then stem, and then the root. This is very important from the evolutionary point of view because this is not found in algae as well as in the bryophytes. That is, both these groups do not have clear differentiation of leaves, stem, and root. But after the bryophytes, when we have pteridophytes, these are pteridophytic plants shows the differentiation of leaves, stem, and root. All right, there are two kinds of leaves found in the pteridophytes. That is, microphylous leaves and megaphylous leaves. The microphylous leaves are the small leaves, while the megaphylous leaves are the large leaves. That is, leaves dimorphism is also shown by the pteridophytes. They have two kinds of leaves. The very first is microphylous and second is megaphylous. Microphylous are the small leaves, while the megaphylous are the large leaves. These are megaphylous leaves, which we can consider as a large leaves. These are also called as the fronds. All right. This term fronds is largely used for the large leaves present in the pteridophyte. All right. The stem of the pteridophyte is generally herbaceous or sometimes woody in nature. That is, both these type of stems are found in the pteridophyte. That is, it may be herbaceous, that is green and delicate, while it may be woody, that is without the green color and strong. Both types of the stems are found in the pteridophytes. While the roots are adventitious type of roots. The main root is very short-lived, but the adventitious roots are keep going from the plants. So the plant body of the pteridophyte is divided into leaves, stem, and root. Leaves are of two types: microphylous leaves and megaphylous leaves. Small leaves are called as the microphylous leaves, while the large leaves are called as the megaphylous leaves. These large leaves are also called as the fronds. The stem of the pteridophytes is herbaceous or woody, while the roots are mostly adventitious and main root disappears after the certain interval of time. All right. Now let's talk about their evolution. They are quite advanced than the bryophytes. They found themselves below from the gymnosperm on the evolutionary scale. That is, they are more developed than the bryophytes, while they are below the gymnosperm on the evolutionary scale. All right, that is, they are less developed than the gymnosperm, but they are the more developed than the bryophytes. All right. So, pteridophyte found themselves between the bryophyte and the gymnosperm on the evolutionary scale. On the one hand, the bryophytes do not show any differentiation in leaves, stem, and root, right? But the pteridophyte shows all the differentiation of leaves, stem, and root. While on the other hand, the gymnosperm shows the presence of seed, which is not found in the pteridophytes. We have concept of seed habit in pteridophytes, but the completely developed seed is not found in pteridophytes. That is why gymnosperms are considered as a more developed as compared to the pteridophytes, and bryophytes are less developed than the pteridophytes. So the important characteristic of the pteridophyte is that pteridophyte find themselves between the bryophytes and gymnosperms. They are more developed than the bryophytes, while they are less developed than the gymnosperms. All right. So these are some of the general characteristics of the pteridophytes. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like the video and please share this video with your friends who are studying the botany. And I will request you to join the Telegram channel of the same name, that is the Botany Officer channel for UPSC examination on the Telegram platform. The link of this channel has been given in the description box. You can click there and straight away go to the Telegram platform and join the channel. Again, thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next one.